Optimus Prime here, so it's time for another film review today. Today I'm going to be reviewing the second installment of the Lord of the Rings movie trilogy directed by Peter Jackson, which is The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. So yeah, now this is another one of my favourite adaptations of the work by J.R.R. Tolkien, and so yeah, what's this film about? So this is of course a direct adaptation of the book of the same name by J.R.R. Tolkien, and yeah, so yeah, I love this movie very much. I think it's really enjoyable to watch. Do I think it's better than Fellowship of the Ring? Not entirely better really, but is it, better than the animated adaptations that I've already reviewed? Yes, most definitely. So yeah, now, so what do I like about this movie? So what I love about this movie, guys, is I love how it of course continues the story, and we have like two different character groups with their story arcs, don't we? One of which being Frodo and Sam as they continue their journey towards Mordor, and also on the other one is of course Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. So yeah, those are like the two story arcs basically, guys. And now another thing that I do love about the movie, I like the cast most definitely. Once again, Elijah Wood, loved him as Frodo. He was brilliant. And to be honest, guys, I do think Sean Astin was much better in this movie as Sam, for example. And the next example I can name is I love his bonding and his friendship with Frodo very much, and how much he cares about Frodo. I also love how even when Frodo got a bit angry because of the ring, corrupting him a little bit, that Sam was understanding of it, really. But my favourite thing about Sam in this movie, guys, is probably his speech at the end of the movie, when the battle is over. I really love that. Like, it's a very, motivational, inspirational speech. I really loved it. Sean Astin did great as Sam. I also really loved, once again, the legendary Sir Ian McKellen as, this time, Gandalf the White, because Gandalf, of course, I like how this movie begins with the same, confrontation on the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, but they expand on it to show that Gandalf was having a fight with Balrog as they both fell into the depths of Moria. And of course, Gandalf did luckily survive the fall long enough to be able to climb up to the top of that snowy landscape, I think it was. I don't remember what it was called though. And he got to have a fight with Balrog, and he did defeat it, but at the cost of his life, because he was weak and deprived of energy. But luckily, he was reborn as Gandalf the White. So yeah. And while Sir McKellen, as always, was spectacular as Gandalf, I was kind of disappointed he didn't really have much screen time in this movie, because, I mean, he of course first appears in the flashback to a Bridge of Khazad-dûm. Then he returns as Gandalf the White to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli in Fangorn Forest. And then they go to Rohan together, where he's able to bring back King Theoden from being corrupted by Saruman. But then after that he leaves, and he doesn't appear again until towards the end of the movie, like in the final moments when he arrives with, reinforcements to defeat the orcs in the Battle of Helm's Deep. So yeah, but nonetheless, Sir Ian loved him as always as Gandalf. And I also loved Orlando Bloom as Legolas and John Rhys Davies as Gimli. I love how they both had like this game where they had to see who killed the most orcs. Like, I thought that was really funny and really fun to watch. Definitely. They were great in this movie. I also, once again, loved Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd as Merry and Pippin as well. They're once again great as well. I also definitely once again really love the legendary Sir Christopher Lee as Saruman as well. I like how compared to Fellowship of the Ring he played a slightly bigger role in this. And he was very good. But still, I also think he also deserved a bit more screen time as well, because he only has a few scenes in this movie, but they are definitely worth a watch thanks to the amazing performance by Sir Christopher Lee. May rest in peace. Another thing I do like about this movie is I like how it introduced brand new characters. So I've already mentioned that, of course, we get introduced to King Theoden, played by Bernard Hill, who is brilliant in the role. One thing I will say that confused me when I saw the movie is that Saruman poisoned him, because that does not happen in the book, guys. So yeah. So that was very confusing. I don't know why they did that, but I suppose they probably wanted to make the movie, longer, I guess, maybe. I don't know. By including much more challenges. we of course got introduced to Erwin, played by Miranda Otto, and she was also great in the role, definitely. And also Carl Urban as Eomer. Like, this is what introducing him as an actor, because I then saw him again later in The Boys as Billy Butcher. And in other roles he's played as well. What else? Oh yeah, I also definitely loved Treebeard, who is also voiced by John Rhys Davies, guys. So not only did he play Gimli, he also voiced Treebeard. Did a great job of it as well. Yeah, Treebeard was great in the movie, and I loved, his interactions with Merry and Pippin as well. With regard to the action, I think the action is also really amazing as well. The action was slightly better than Fellowship of the Ring's action, because Fellowship of the Ring doesn't really have as much action, but nonetheless, I think it's beautiful, Fellowship of the Ring. Like, I loved the battle outside Rohan, where they get ambushed by the Warg Riders. And I also loved the Ents' attack on Isengard, where they flooded it. That was really good. And I also really loved the Battle of Helm's Deep. The Battle of Helm's Deep was probably one of the greatest battles I've ever seen in cinematic history. I mean, because before the Battle of the Black Gate topped it, in my opinion, I think this was probably one of the best battles I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely incredible. Like, it was very well made, and it was brilliant, very suspenseful, full of incredible action, I'm telling you. It was so much fun to watch. Really good. I do like how we got introduced to new enemies as well, being the Uruk-hai. We saw them getting created in Fellowship of the Ring, and now we got to see them in their full glory in this movie as being part of the army that attacks Helm's Deep. Like, that was really good. Oh yeah, I also really loved Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn once again. I like, how he was very motivated to fight for the people of Helm's Deep, saying to Legolas that he'll die as one of the people there. Like, that made me love Viggo Mortensen more as Aragorn in this movie. And it made Aragorn my favourite member of the Fellowship, definitely. Now, my other issues with the movie, guys, with regards to characters, I think some also deserve more screen time. For example, I think Lord Elrond deserved more screen time. And definitely, because he only has one scene in a movie where, he's preparing Lady Arwen to go off on her to leave for the Undying Lands. And that's it, sadly. But I can understand why, because Hugo Weaving was, of course, also filming the back-to-back Matrix sequels at the time. So, yeah, he probably didn't have much time to film his scenes as Elrond in this movie, because he was also busy working on the Matrix. The same can also be applied to Galadriel as well, because she also only appears in that same scene, and that's it. We don't see her again, where she's talking to Elrond. We don't see her again. I was pretty sad about that, because I think she's a very important character, and she deserves more attention. But, guys, I think that while the entire cast was amazing in this movie, I think probably the best actor in the movie has to definitely be the legendary one and only Andy Serkis as Gollum. Because Andy Serkis, Gollum is my favourite motion capture performance of all time, actually, guys. And it's because of this movie and Return of the King. Andy Serkis, did an absolutely phenomenal job in the role. And, like, he totally embodies the character of Gollum, bringing him to life. And it's incredible. And the CGI, it's so great, it holds up to this day. It's really good. Like, really impressive. And, he nailed the role of Gollum. He really did. He was perfect for a role. With regards to other new characters, I did like the addition of Faramir, Boromir's brother. But one thing I didn't really like was how they included, like, a new story for him, which was not in the book, where basically he wants to take the ring to Gondor. I don't know why they had to include that, because that's not in the book, but, at least it added more stuff to watch, I guess, really, because trying to make it longer. Another thing as well that I didn't really like about this movie, guys, was that I didn't really like as well how there were some scenes which were a little bit boring and dragged a bit, really, that needed a bit, they could have been shorter. But, I can let that pass because of the other great things I mentioned. I think they overshadow my issues. And also, as well, I also wish they didn't cut out the scenes with Denethor and Boromir, because Jon Noble made his first appearance as Denethor in a deleted scene, and Boromir appeared in a flashback wearing his armour, but unfortunately we didn't see that again, sadly. Yeah, we didn't see him because it was cut out, but luckily they're in the extended edition, which I was happy about. But yeah, I think, they deserve to appear in the actual version we got in cinemas. So yeah, Now, all in all, guys, I do love this movie. I think it's, you know, it's really amazing to watch and absolutely sublime. Really great movie. Now, if you're wondering what I gave out of 10, well, if you've not seen my ranking video of the movies, guys, then I give this movie an 8 out of 10. You know, I think it's really good. Like, it's a very enjoyable movie. I've only got a few problems with it, which I mentioned, but that's it, really. So, yeah. So, guys, this was me reviewing The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, directed by Peter Jackson. So, you know, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, so be sure to leave in the comments what you guys thought of this movie, what you give out of 10, what you guys think of The Two Towers. Also, be sure to join Team Power My Best and subscribe for more videos coming in the future, and fly, you fools!